Wake up, wake up, wake up, 502. It is going down on a beautiful Saturday morning. This is your boy, Raashaan Myers, 96.1 FM, 1450 AM, Big X Sports Radio. And we are definitely going back and forth and forth. And, you know, that's the best way I can say it, man. Just unbelievable, unbelievable week. A lot to talk about, a lot to get into, and we're going to get this thing rolling with you this morning. So excited to be here. So happy to be here this morning to talk with you. Though I think we may have some technical issues going on this morning. I'm getting some weird readouts on the display, so I'm gonna see if I can get that figured out. Uh, let's see as we're sitting here, because I want to make sure this is actually going out over the air, but I don't know, but we'll keep it trucking and we'll go ahead and get into this thing this morning and we'll see if anything is happening on with that. But we have a lot to get into. Um, let me check one thing just to make sure. Let's take a look. Let's take a look. And we'll test that out. But no, a lot to get into. We have a lot going on. We have a lot of Louisville basketball news, fortunately or unfortunately. Louisville football news going on, fortunately and unfortunately. Um, and that's why we go. I figured we go with back, forth and forth because it's just a lot happening. I don't really know. Um, where the thing is going to stop. It's like a merry-go-round, and this the 5 for 5 is happening. We have guys becoming eligible, guys becoming ineligible. um we're just kind of going round and around and around. So I am thoroughly confused. I'll say I'm not thoroughly confused on what's happening. I know exactly what's happening, but you know, I feel like some of these things that are happening could be helped, and they're just not being helped. And it's just annoying. It's definitely a little bit annoying. But we'll get into all that. We have updates from Louisville football practice as they continue to get ready and prepare for their next, get ready for their first game of the year. Of course, coming up in a couple weeks in Nashville. Of course, we want to talk about that and see what's going to happen with going down there, getting ready for Ole Miss. Then you also have um, NFL preseason going on. The Baltimore Ravens look like they may have one of the steals of the draft. So, we'll definitely get into that as well. And then we have Cleveland Cavaliers making a trade, and I want to know if it matters. So we got some professional sports today. We have a little bit of everything. But before we get into any of that, we have to get into the huge news that just broke yesterday. A dismissal from the University of Louisville basketball team. We've definitely got to talk about that as the news was made public that London Johnson is no longer a Louisville Cardinal. I don't know what happened. I don't know why it happened, but it looks like apparently London Johnson was doing something and violated team rules, and apparently he's gone. So we do have that happening, which is unfortunate. Definitely sucks. Um, would rather that not be the case, but y- you know, what do you do about it? What can you do about it? I don't know that you can do much about it, but man, just unfortunate situation there. Definitely sounds like from the scuttlebutt, this is not something that just happened, but definitely was something that happened recently ish. So, within say the last month. But apparently the university has been looking into this, and unfortunately it looks like London Johnson is gonna be gone from the University of Louisville basketball team, which I hate because, I know a lot of people A lot of fans are saying, "Oh, they don't care. Oh, this is not a big deal." I am not one of those people. I am not one of those people at all. I am definitely uh, one who believe. Oh, it said I sound like Charlie Brown's teacher. Let me go ahead and check. Um, Let me go ahead and check the audio. Yeah, no, it looks like the audio is correct. I do appreciate that. Says my microphone is staticky. Yeah, I don't know what happened. There's definitely some things going on with the audio this morning. You guys let me know if it gets any better. I do apologize for that. If I come in, yeah, that's the one thing about coming into the studio on Saturday mornings is that that there have been folks in here all week, and sometimes the gremlins start to play games on these soundboards. So um, I may need to take an early break so I can go ahead and check some of these things. Um, and see what's going on because I'm not sure if we are going on over the air. If you guys can let me know if we're actually going on over the air, I know we're definitely going on socials on. So I know we're up on X and Facebook and YouTube, but I don't know if we're going over the radio. So that is something that I will. Hopefully, you guys can check and let me know. But not sure if that's happening. Um, but okay. Oh, it says I'm going on and off. All right, hey, so check this out. So we're gonna go ahead. We're gonna take an early break. Um, and then we'll just come back. We'll do that. We'll check some settings on there, y'all, because I don't want to blow everybody out. I'm gonna go ahead and check on some things, and then we'll be right back. This is 96.1 FM, Raashaan Myers, Big X Sports Radio, and we will be right back.
There's not a better feeling to have a smile on your face after getting your car serviced. That's how it works at Consolidated Tire and Auto Care. Serving Kentuckiana for over 3 decades, fixing brakes, putting tires on, and servicing your car. And now, from a new and improved
with the theme of the show. Hopefully, this is a little bit better for you guys. I think I got everything figured out. So, in the spirit of back, forth, and forth, I think I fixed this on my own. So if I have, you guys let me know. Um, oh, I just got another message that says it sounds like if Jay has and says if Jay has and Haven had a kid named Mushmouth. Oh man, y'all are killing me. I don't know. I mean, I've checked all of the. Let's see. Let's try that. I don't know if I've tried to set this. Oh, it sounds good. It says I sound good. Great. I fixed it on my own, y'all. That's crazy. Like that's wild. I don't know what I did. But hopefully I got this all taken care of now. Let's see. So do I am I good now? Am I good to go? Okay. All right. So hopefully that got that fixed and taken care of. I have a see this is why, the fact that I have to, that I'm good enough to be able to do the show as well as fix my technical problems while I'm on the air. I hope you all appreciate the amount of skill and ability that takes. But it says I sound good now. So thanks so much to everybody. Sorry for the craziness this morning, but we're gonna go ahead and actually get the show started. Cool. Sean Hampton, appreciate you, brother. So Sean Hampton 7402 got me taken care of. Let's just go ahead and let's hit a restart. So we're gonna do just like Aaliyah says. We're gonna go back, forth, and forth, and we're gonna get this thing started again. Welcome in. Thanks so much, everybody, for joining. This is Wake Up 502. 96.1 FM, 1450 AM, Big X Sports Radio. The Gremlins were working full time and overtime on the board this morning. I don't know who had been messing with the board, but there were all kind of settings off. But your boy got it together and got everything going right. So, thank you. We have so much to get into this morning. 96.1 FM, Big X Sports Radio. Let's just jump right into it. Like I said, there's a lot happening. Louisville football, Louisville basketball, guys eligible, guys not eligible. But, before we get into any of that, the biggest thing that we need to get into is the London Johnson news that came down yesterday afternoon, or actually yesterday morning. The announcement was made. Louisville basketball got a couple of tough pieces of news. And, of course, if you want to get involved with any of these conversations, 502-414-1450. That is the Game Day Men's Health text line. Would love to hear from you. You can also give me a call, 384-1450 as well, if you want to give me a call on the Call Your Law Office hotline. But I tell you what, let's get into it. As I said, London Johnson, the announcement was made, was dismissed from University of Louisville yesterday for violation of team rules and university policies. That sounds like he got caught doing something no. That is, it definitely sounds like this is something that would get a student athlete kicked off. It doesn't sound like just a straight violation of team rules. Anytime they say violation of team rules as well as university policy, quote unquote, when they add that to it, that's tough. That makes it sound like there was no, and I'm not saying that there was an opportunity for a way back, but anytime you break university policy, that pretty much says that it's over and done with. I hate it. I know a lot of people have met this news about London Johnson with, I don't care, it doesn't matter, that type of deal. I do think that this is a big deal, but just because I think that London Johnson was going to have a great year. I think that the young man had been playing very, very well. Definitely a player at a position of need, and just definitely a guy who I feel has a lot of talent. It's unfortunate that this is the way that his story is going to end. I feel like he was going to be a very integral part of the team and the program, and I think he was going to play well. So it's just unfortunate. I think that the University of Louisville will be okay. Um, I know that this team has been plagued with point guard issues and ball handler issues. So to lose a guy who plays that position specifically hurts, just because this has always been an issue with the University of Louisville. But I feel like now we have part of the reason why University of Louisville went after Seth Trimble. I feel like this Seth Trimble recruitment and ultimate commitment to the University of Louisville, I feel like this London Johnson thing has apparently been cooking for a few weeks, and University of Louisville wanted to do their due diligence and find the best way to move forward, and Seth Trimble aligned perfectly. As I said last week when we talked about Seth Trimble as a potential commitment for the University of Louisville, that the guy that, in my personal opinion, would be, front and center for the person who's going to have his minutes get taken away, or the potential to be taken away. I said London Johnson, just because both guys, similar skill sets, both guys, very aggressive downhill attacking guards, combo guards that are maybe a little bit more two guard than point guard, but very, very talented, both very good defenders. I felt that they were very similar players. So I felt like, the whole Seth Trimble thing came down because of, apparently this issue going on with London Johnson, just because I knew that Pat Kelsey and company, they were very happy with the team as it stands, and they were very happy with the squad. That's why I was almost surprised to hear the Seth Trimble news, because I just always felt like, Pat Kelsey was very comfortable. Now, of course, I wasn't necessarily as comfortable with the 11-man roster, just because Louisville has kind of gone into the season with a shoestring roster the last couple of years, and the first two under Pat Kelsey. And it just, when you have a roster that short, it just makes it difficult if there are injuries to go out there and have enough guys to even practice. And I know a lot of people don't really buy into the whole practice thing, but I think that's important. Guys get dinged up during the summer, twist ankles, and do things like that. And it'd be nice to have enough players to go out there, even if there's guys dinged up or things going on, to be able to have at least enough scholarship athletes to go out there and field two 5-man squads. So, I know a lot of people don't necessarily think about that, but, I understand that when you have the issues that you had the first year, where Abubakar Traore goes down, and Kason Pryor goes down, and Corin Johnson goes down, and now, you go from 11 scholarship athletes to 8 scholarship athletes, how much that's going to play an issue with, with the rotations and everything else. But, and then, of course, year 2, you have Michael Brown injury that comes up. You have a couple of other guys that are dealing with nicks and bruises, but nothing major. But, of course, you have Kason Pryor still slowed. So, you have, 9.5 healthy players, I guess, in year 2. But like I said, it's just one of those things. Like, we've seen a lot of tape where Peyton Siva's having to get out there, when Peyton was still on the coaching staff, having to get out there and run 5-on-5 just so the team had enough players. And that's why I was surprised that Coach Kelsey didn't go and get at least a 13-man roster this year. I know Will Hankey is on the team as well, so technically it's actually 12 players, 11 scholarship and a walk-on. But, I just think that with this London Johnson news and now the uncertainty surrounding Seth Trimble, right now we're back at a position where you have 10 scholarship athletes out there and available. So, it's unfortunate. It's definitely more unfortunate for London, because I think that London was going to recover a lot of his reputation this year. I think that he was going to be a guy that was going to come out. I think he was going to play well. I think that was going to help him, because, he has 2 years of eligibility. And I think London would have been a player that's good enough to come out, play well this year for Louisville. And then even if he decided to go back into the transfer portal next year, I feel like he would have been able to be in a good position to have a lucrative final year in college basketball. And now all that is thrown up into craziness. Now, I guess the best thing for him is that this happened quick enough to where maybe he can catch on with another team before the final school closes, if he wants to go to, I don't know, Bellarmine, or go to Eastern Kentucky, Western Kentucky, or somewhere close locally, or somewhere back from where he's from, if he can get enrolled quick enough. So I mean, at least it didn't happen during the school year, so he has to sit out. Classes are still getting started, so he could get in there before the final cut down. So I mean, at least from that angle, maybe there's a way forward for him to find somewhere to land. But I do think the University of Louisville will be okay. There's still enough opportunity. With additions to where I feel like other guys can be brought in. If Louisville decided to go that route, I don't know if they're going to have an appetite for doing that. But we'll see on that. But let's go ahead. Let's bring in our man, the myth, the legend himself, Mr. H to the Izzo, Haven Harrington. Good morning, brother. How are you doing?
Man, what's going on, Dr. Myers?
Man, I'm over here trying to play Radio Fix It while I'm on the air. Do I sound good now?
Oh, you sounded really good.
Okay.
You got it fixed.
Are you impressed that I knew how to fix that on my own on the fly?
I know, right?
Like, this is, I don't know what gremlins have been messing with the board, but I'm talking about, this soundboard. There's a lot of buttons and a lot of lights and a lot of things that happen on this board. And, apparently somebody just came in and pushed like all the buttons. So whatever happened,
you got it fixed.
I got it fixed. So I'm glad you're here with me this morning, Haven Harrington.
Now we can fix Louisville basketball, because I'm with you, man. Going to the season where, yes, you're losing London Johnson, who wasn't expected to start, but he's at a very important position at guard, which is something that Louisville has really, I'm not going to say lacked the past 2 years underneath Pat Kelsey, but that's been like the weakest position.
The thinnest position.
The thinnest position has been guard.
Yes.
And having like a lot of depth at guard, especially ball handlers at guard. And to lose a ball handler hurts. And then Seth, his whole career, whatever, may be in doubt. His eligibility may be in doubt. It's just even worse, because that was the guy that I know that people were counting on to fill a lot of gaps.
Yeah.
And if he's ineligible, man, that's like a big blow. That's huge.
Yeah. No, I mean, it for sure is. I mean, it's one of those things, man, where it's just a tough look, I mean, for the university. I mean, just to be going into this, just the fact that, people are scarred by just the fact that, once again, Louisville's dealing with problems. I mean, University of Louisville basketball, it's another problem. It never stops, Haven Harrington. And I know people are tired of it.
How can you not be tired of it? Because it seems like it's always happening. Something always happens, whether it's a rash of injuries to begin the season, or, actually the past couple of years has just been just injury after injury after injury after injury. And this year's like everybody seems like they're coming to this season healthy, but then like you lose one point guard, possibly another one at a position of need. And it's like, man, like, when can we get everything just to go right?
Yeah.
Like, when can we start the season without any hiccups, on a super strong footing, and making this happen? And to make it worse, for most Louisville fans, like, you really still haven't got to really see the team.
Yeah.
So, like, you don't know, like, what other pieces are out there, how they fit together.
Maybe now it's good that that the Bahamas trip was not shown, because,
no, it makes it worse.
London Johnson was one of the guys that had a really good game in the Bahamas.
Yeah, but it makes it worse, because now you don't know, like, who else is on the team.
I mean, that's fair, but, with as well as London played, I think he only missed one shot, had like 10 points, 3 or 4 assists, no turnovers, couple steals, a couple nice plays. If this guy went out there and looked like the maestro, then everybody's like, now he's gone. I don't know. I don't know. This is just another crazy preseason. But like I said, Haven, I personally feel like now we know why Seth Trimble was recruited. And, why, Kelsey, who's so big on chemistry and so big on culture and so big on, guys getting together over the summer and becoming one unit. It's just unfortunate that this would happen because it's not like London Johnson is his new recruit. London Johnson made it fine a whole semester from when he came in, and committed in early December and came into the program in late December. Made it through the whole basketball season last year without any problem. And then ends up getting booted off the team, basically a month before school starts, or getting in trouble a month before school starts. It's like, it just
well, the other question,
it's crazy.
But the other question you have is because you're not sure how his NIL deal is structured. So are we still on the hook to pay him?
Yeah, I mean,
so what happens? All those funds return back to like how does that work?
Well, how much did he get paid to come here, committed, and sit out last year?
Yeah.
And to commit to the University of Louisville. So yeah, I mean, there's questions about that. There's questions about but I know he won't get paid for this season because the season hasn't started. But yeah, I mean, how much was is Louisville on the hook for, just for the fact that he was here for 6 months, 8 months, or whatever without actually playing a game. It's crazy. It's crazy. I mean, it's unfortunate that this is coming about, but. And now you have this news that was exasperated as well with the news that Seth Trimble, who just committed, and oddly enough, the University of Louisville just announced the signing yesterday, that literally, Haven, 53 minutes after Louisville announced the signing of Seth Trimble, the announcement was made that the NCAA's motion to stay the decision in Colorado was granted by the district court, the 10th district court, which basically said that this nationwide eligibility given to the class of 2022 players. So basically, all the players that were covered, in, which I always had a question about, honestly, was that can a court in a single state grant eligibility to everybody across the country, which I always thought was very flimsy and I thought was kind of ridiculous. Seth Trimble's eligibility is now once again in question. He is currently ineligible because he was a guy who was benefiting from that lawsuit in Colorado. And I actually thought it was interesting that Louisville decided not to have Seth add himself to the current state lawsuit that just got granted yesterday as well, allowing Mark Mitchell as well as a couple of Louisville football players, including Jabari Mack, to become eligible. It was just kind of interesting that Louisville did not just tell Seth, hey, let's go ahead and add you to this lawsuit as well, just to cover ourselves in case stuff gets weird in Colorado. You would have thought they would have just done that due diligence. But they decided not to. Now, looking back in hindsight, being 2020, that looks like a mistake, of course, because now Seth Trimble is not going to get the benefit of that nationwide eligibility. And I'm going to tell anybody who's waiting to figure out if that nationwide eligibility is going to become a thing again, if that they can get this overturned on appeals. Appeals would not happen until probably sometime early next year. So basically, for all intents and purposes, the nationwide eligibility situation is dead. I mean, because there's no schools that are going to be waiting and having kids join the programs in like February. You know what I mean? Like that's not happening.
It gets fast tracked because who knows? I mean,
but appellate court takes months.
It does take months, unless the SEC, and then you can get your friends and judges.
The SEC. I mean, heck, the commissioner literally asked the judge in Kentucky not to approve the motion in Kentucky just because they didn't want to see Mark Mitchell transfer to another program within the SEC. I mean, like the SEC, the Brain Trust doesn't want this stuff going on at all. And I think that them requesting that motion honestly has more to do with football than basketball. The SEC has been very, aggressive in coming out and asking, because when the big man Charles Bediako got his opportunity to play for Alabama, Greg Sankey literally came out and was like, "Yeah, please make him ineligible. We don't need players coming back for fifth years, and we don't need players transferring from SEC school to SEC school." So I mean, Sankey has been like literally championing keeping these guys that are currently ineligible. Of course, they're letting, I will say, Trinidad Chambliss, who also has an injunction, which is why he's able to start quarterback for Ole Miss. There's not been enough whining about that, in my personal opinion, but he's going to play his 7th year of college football this year, starting on September 6th against the University of Louisville.
That is amazing.
What that
you guys, you could literally have players in college for 7 or 8 years just to play ball.
Yeah. Trinidad Chambliss, and like I said, that's one of the ones that to me has always been kind of swept under the rug since his court case went through, and the fact that the NCAA really hasn't, they really didn't give a much conversation about that one. And it seems like the national court case, the NCAA has definitely been a lot more aggressive with, but they are going to continue to fight some of these local cases. I don't know if you saw, Haven, but they did get a stay of the motion in Ohio as well. So all those guys that were a part of the Ohio motion to be able to get that 5th year now are all ineligible again. So guys like Keyshawn Hall, who was a standout for Auburn last year, he was a part of that, and several other guys. So it's weird because certain states, motions have been granted. In other states, motions, stays have been agreed upon, and NCAA is one. So it looks like, Haven, we're going to have players in certain states that get to play, and then other players in other states that won't get to play.
All because
so weird,
the NCAA is a feckless organization.
They are.
That refuses to take responsibility for the sports that they're supposed to govern.
Yeah. I mean, this is what happens when you just try to decide to just not do anything.
They're feckless.
Yes. It's
powerless. They're not powerless, but it's horrible. I mean, just the neglect, the wholesale neglect through the whole NIL transfer portal era by the NCAA is criminal. It is literally criminal.
Yeah. No, I mean, I agree with you. I mean, I don't really know, what the outcome is going to be, all this, but just the fact that, like I said, even if the NCAA would have just even had foresight to just not make this decision to go with the 5 for 5 until after the season started. If they would have waited until October or November to just say, hey, we just want to let everybody know 5 for 5 is going to be good to go. So everybody who's playing this year, seniors this year, they'll have an extra year of eligibility. If they would have waited until October, November to make this decision, none of this would have happened. Like all this going to court and all this stuff would have never happened. But the fact that NCAA decided, hey guys, guess what? We're going to let all the kids this upcoming year play their 5th year. You make that decision in May and make that announcement in May.
Schools have to scramble.
Exactly. Well, the schools shouldn't have to scramble because they said that the players from this previous year were not going to be eligible. But the problem is you made this decision while those players could still file lawsuits and say, well, why doesn't it start with us? You know what I mean? But if you would have waited until after school already started, then it would have been a moot point anyway, because all those schools enrollment would have been done, enrollment would have been closed, and none of those players and athletes would have had any ability to go through all these lawsuits. But the fact that they waited or they did not wait and did it immediately as soon as basically the 2026 spring season was over, it just caused so many more problems. Like the NCAA doesn't make decisions when they need to make decisions. And then when they decide to make a good decision, they announce it too early and end up messing it up anyway. So it's an absolute mess. It's annoying. It's ridiculous. I don't know, man. The NCAA is just their own worst enemy. But unfortunately, this is where we sit now. With the Seth Trimble side of this, the fact that Seth Trimble is not eligible, and as I said, it's ridiculous that he did not join the lawsuit in Kentucky. That being said, I don't think it's going to be a problem. Like, I think that he's going to get his eligibility back because I do think he's going to join a state case. He could even elect. He could have his legal team just have the motion that was just granted in Kentucky for Mark Mitchell. His attorney could just have him extend that motion to include Seth and go that route, which is more than likely what they'll probably do. So I do think that Seth Trimble will end up joining this Kentucky decision, and they'll just go from there. And I do think he'll get his eligibility. So I don't think that Louisville's going to be down. Everybody's been talking about, oh my God, Louisville's down 2 point guards. They're down 2 point guards. Now, that being said, Haven, now if the NCAA decides to come in and fight the Kentucky case and make all of these dudes ineligible, and that they request to stay and that stay is granted, then none of these guys will be eligible. And so the best way to say it is I have no idea what's going to happen, but I know Seth Trimble's going to definitely get his eligibility back. But will that eligibility stick? I have no clue.
I mean, we can just all hope.
Now, let me ask you something, Haven Harrington. Like, I know that school is starting like very, very soon.
Oh, Monday.
If you were Pat Kelsey, would you look with the fact that London Johnson is gone and the fact that Seth Trimble should be eligible, but there's still a chance he may not? Would you grab, say, like a point guard or another guard from, say, Europe and bring him over? Or would you just stick with what you have? Even though you're right now sitting at 10 scholarship guys.
Yes.
You would just stick with what you got?
No, I would grab somebody just in case.
Yeah.
Because you just never know. I'm not saying you have to have somebody, but yeah, I mean, you got to have somebody.
502-414-1450. Game Day Men's Health text line. You guys text me. Let me know. Would you go out there if you're Pat Kelsey and you know that Seth Trimble there's probably about a 60-70% chance that Seth Trimble is going to be eligible and good to go this year. Would you cover your bases by going out and adding another point guard from, say, Europe? If you could go grab, a European point guard and bring him in just to add some depth to that position, would you do that?
I most definitely would hedge my bets and have somebody on deck just in case. But the problem is with the season starting so soon.
Well, school's starting so soon. Everything would have to be fast tracked, like literally fast tracked. Like you would have to just. You're on the phones right now with Pat Kelsey saying, "Look, can I get somebody here like now?" I know that Kelsey and crew have a great line over to the European basketball circuit, but like it's crazy. Like all of this stuff is insane. Plus, you have Louisville football dealing with this as well. You have Jabari Mack, Caleb Perry, D'Angelo Hutchinson. All those guys. Have gotten their eligibility back, but now Caleb Perry, because he was a guy who was granted because of the national lawsuit as well. Now Caleb Perry is now ineligible again, but it looks like D Hutch and Jabari Mack are still good to go. So you got two of the guys, but now you don't have the other linebacker that you had, and these guys literally are playing games in 2 weeks, even there, 2 weeks from tomorrow.
Yeah.
But it's kind of crazy, right? Like it's this whole thing is just wild to see in real time. And then you have, of course, the blue neck BBN fans over here that have been going through it all season because their coach sucks and their roster sucks. Now trying to like go extra hard on, oh look, London Johnson, he got kicked off the team. You guys are gonna be terrible. What's gonna happen now? It's like, shut up, we're still better than you. Louisville could go out there with 9 guys and still be better than that crap roster that Kentucky put together. So I don't want to hear anything you have to say. And by the way, Kentucky fans, Mark Mitchell did get his eligibility. He still has not committed to the University of Kentucky. If Mark Mitchell was such a done deal for the University of Kentucky, why has he not committed yet? Like, answer me that question. How about that? Like, I've seen so many Kentucky websites talking about, oh my goodness, Mark Mitchell's going to be amazing. Oh my goodness, Mark Mitchell's just going to be such an impact guy. Have you all noticed that he hasn't committed to Kentucky yet?
My, oh my.
I mean, like for a guy who supposedly all dyed in blue, and last I checked, he was given his waiver yesterday morning. So Haven, if it was such a done deal that Mark Mitchell was going to be a Kentucky Wildcat, as I look, I am checking X right now, and I still don't see a Mark Mitchell. Oh, hold on. Let's see. We do have. Here we go. Breaking news. Haven Harrington, are you ready?
Yes.
Missouri transfer power forward Mark Mitchell has had a Zoom call with the Kentucky staff since receiving his temporary restraining order. Sources tell me. We know what that means, Haven Harrington. He's had a Zoom call. Guess who else had a Zoom call with the University of Kentucky? Jackson Kohler. Guess where Jackson Kohler committed, Haven Harrington?
Where's he at now?
It wasn't at Kentucky. He had a 2.5 hour Zoom call with Mark Pope and immediately committed to BYU. So once again, I hate to be like that.
Do you really?
But no, not at all.
Do you really?
The fact that all of these big blue media people always feel, and the fact that Kentucky lets it leak, all of these guys that Pope is having these Zoom calls with. Like, it used to be a big deal when you had a guy come to visit campus, right? Like, when a guy came to visit, that was the news you put out there. But for whatever reason, this offseason, the big blue media has found, and Kentucky, I guess as a staff, has made it a point to go out here and announce Zoom calls. And literally everybody that they've had on a Zoom call, they've lost somewhere else. Like, every time they announce a Zoom call, it almost guarantees that dude is going to play somewhere else. So it's like, how about y'all just stop? But now, once again, Saturday morning, they're announcing another Zoom call. So, I said, people keep asking what happens on these Zoom calls with Mark Pope.
They find out how weird he is, and they're like, nah, I'm good.
I mean, Rob Wright, the point guard from BYU who came to visit Kentucky, had apparently this visit with Pope and, was on campus for apparently only a couple of hours and decided to cut his visit short and immediately went back to BYU after the visit. Like, I don't know what Pope is doing on these Zoom calls, but whatever he's doing, I posted the tweet, the meme of a Buffalo Bill from Silence of the Lambs dancing in front of the camera. You remember that scene from Silence of the Lambs, Haven Harrington?
Yes.
With Buffalo Bill, he's got his little robe on. I say that must be what Mark Pope is doing on these Zoom calls. Because for whatever reason, the University of Kentucky has just continued to whiff. But the fact that they have now announced this Zoom call meeting, to me, I feel like this is the kiss of death that Mark Mitchell will not be committing to the University of Kentucky. And Kentucky fans just keep getting so mad at me because I continue to troll them. But it's like, you all make it so easy. Like, why don't y'all just stay quiet until somebody actually commits? Like, they make everything such a big deal. Like, the fact that they've basically just been guaranteeing that Mark Mitchell's going to be a Kentucky Wildcat for like the last 3 weeks, even though the kid hasn't committed, is just been, it's going to be comedy gold. It'll be comedy gold. They bet because now there are sources, Haven Harrington. My sources are telling me that Mark Mitchell, who was a standout last year at Missouri, and the fact that Greg Sankey is really pushing for to keep inter-conference transfers from happening. There's talk that Mark Mitchell may return. Like right now, Missouri has a full load. Like they have all 15 scholarship spots taken, but there are people that are saying that there's some moving and shaking going on to create a space for Mark Mitchell to return to Missouri for this year. So, all of this could happen, and then Mark Mitchell could end up being a Missouri Tiger again, and that would just be hilarious. But either way, I'm going to laugh at the Kentucky people because it's fun, and BBN is very, very emotional right now. And, of course, they have the reality of Kentucky football actually starting in 2 weeks, and all of that Will Stein hype. All I've seen, Haven, is all this Will Stein era is coming. Will Stein era is coming. Do you see they play 8 ranked teams this year?
I mean, it's the SEC. Half those teams overranked anyway.
They are. I mean, of course they're overrated, but like it's just still hilarious.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I wasn't saying I'm not like I am like a Will Stein kind of fan.
I'm going to enjoy watching Will Stein get his head beat in. Period.
We'll see.
Look, brother, you either ride with us or collide with us. He's in the blue now.
He is.
He's in the blue.
He is.
And first, and he's stealing our stuff. Feed the studs. Are you kidding me?
I mean,
are you kidding me?
Of course he is.
Haven Harrington.
Look, everything he learned here at the greatness it is the University of Louisville. Everything he learned. He's not taking anything from Oregon because he took everything he learned here and took it to Oregon.
I mean, feed the studs, though.
Once again, he took everything he learned here.
He did. He did.
And now he's taking it to Kentucky. Even coaches. His entire coaching staff is like former U of L players.
Yeah.
And former U of L coaches. He didn't hire none of those bums that were part of any UK rosters because he knew better.
But yeah, like I said, I know there's a lot of Louisville guys on roster. I know, there's plenty of people that are, associated with the University of Louisville that are down there. But I cannot cheer for them. I cannot celebrate for any of this.
That is the greatest form of flattery.
Oh, is that what is that what you call it?
Yes.
Absolutely not. I can't deal with it. I don't like it. I definitely don't like feed the studs. That's some bull stuff right there. That's just, we created feed the studs.
Like I said, that's the greatest.
Like that was a Bobby Petrino 1.0 thing.
It was a Bobby Petrino 1.0 thing, but that is like the greatest compliment that UK could ever pay us is hiring our former player to be their head coach. He pretty much takes all his coaching staff as almost former U of L players and U of L coaches because they know that there's nobody in their pipeline worth a darn.
I mean, it is in UK football.
Honestly,
UK football sucks.
Honestly, there's not anybody they could find in their pipeline to be like, you know what? We need to go get this ex-UK player that's now a coach someplace that's doing big things and bring them back into the fold with former UK players and bring back Big Blue because he can't bring back crap.
Yeah. I mean,
it is what it is, right? So he had to go to U of L to get one of our coaches, one of our former players that was doing great things in Oregon, had one of the top offenses in the country, had one of the top offenses when he was at UTEP, and bring him in and then bring a bunch of former U of L players because, your players ain't worth a darn. And your coaches aren't worth a damn.
That's fair.
Boom. I'm just saying. I'm just saying that's the greatest form of flattery they could pay the University of Louisville. It's like, we have to copy you. Literally, we have to copy everything you do with your players and your former coaches because we ain't got nothing over here.
They suck. Yes.
And the coaches that we did have that are really good don't want to come back. So what does that say?
I mean, no.
I'm just saying, like the really good coaches they have that are really doing it on a national level don't want to come back to Kentucky.
No, I mean, no, that's absolutely fair.
So what does that tell you?
It does. I mean, Kentucky, if Kentucky wins, I've already said it. With looking at the schedule, of course, all the Kentucky UK people are saying they're going to upset Alabama week 2. Which, I mean, look.
Hey, you know what? I love the optimism.
That coach, what's his name?
DeBoer?
Kalen DeBoer has not been great since he's been in Alabama, but they ain't losing to Kentucky. That's not how. I know hope springs eternal, but I feel like the reality is going to come crashing down very quickly because they have Alabama week 2 and then they head on the road at Texas A&M week 3. So, they have a very difficult start to their season. They have Youngstown State in week 1, so they'll get that one barely. They'll do the Kentucky special of letting some FCS team stay way too close to them and pull away late and do their Kentucky thing. But then I just feel like they're going to get humbled, and I'm going to love every minute of it. I'm sorry. I'm going to enjoy watching Will Stein.
I'm going to say this. I'm going to think that actually Kentucky is going to throttle Youngstown State.
Oh, you think so, huh?
They're going to completely throttle Youngstown State.
Okay.
Throttle them.
Okay. All right, we'll see. We'll see. I think it's gonna be. I think it's gonna. They're gonna do what they always do. I think because those games classically UK's week one game, regardless of whether it's Toledo, regardless of whether it's Kent State, whoever they always play some Ohio school, some Ohio school in that first game of the year, and it's always closer than it should be.
No,
I think it will.
Well,
I think it'll be that.
And I say that because I honestly think that Will Stein is a very good coach. And he's, if nothing else, he's a great offensive mind. So Kentucky will score points. There's no doubt in my mind.
I've heard their offense has been looking rough. He apparently in the first scrimmage he was not happy with them.
I think they'll score points.
Okay.
To me, the issue is they'll beat down a Youngstown State.
I mean, they'll do what Kentucky always does. They win their games that they're crap games,
and then they'll get throttled by Alabama.
But they're going to win 2 or 3 SEC games total.
Texas A&M total. Maybe it all depends on SEC safe out because and this is the weird thing about like the NIL portal or era. You just never know who's going to be good from year to year. Like
well, let's keep it real. Curt Cignetti has changed the way people look at it. Like
completely.
Everybody says, well, they're not in the no. Indiana did it.
They did it.
Okay, but that doesn't necessarily mean that everybody.
Doesn't mean you can do it.
Yeah, like Cignetti did it, and I give him credit because I think that a lot of what he did and the reason that they were so good was because that those guys that came over with him from James Madison were very good players, and he had those guys for 2 years. We have to see what Cignetti's going to look like now that all those JMU guys are gone. Even though, of course, now with this with these sanctions going on, some of those JMU guys are probably going to be back in Indiana again this year for a third year.
You just never know.
But
the thing is, it's like with Texas A&M. Like Texas A&M was good last year, but I don't think they were the world beaters they were made out to be. You know what I'm saying? They were a very solid defensive-minded team with an offense that was very turnover prone.
Yes.
And I bit them.
Yes.
Alabama last year was a good team, but they were nowhere near the top of the SEC like people wanted them to be, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm just not sure how these guys are going to translate from last year this year. Ole Miss last year was a great team, a lot of grit and moxie, but now that you lose your captain, and now the defensive coordinator is taking charge, and a lot of staff is still kind of in place. You still just don't know how that's going to translate with a different guy in charge. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So there's so many unknowns out there, which is why I think number one in college football, actually in college sports in general, I don't think you should have any rankings, any top 25 rankings, at least until the second week of the season, especially in football. So you at least have an idea of what these guys are going to look like.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I mean, it's definitely, it's the just everything that's happening with college athletics right now. I mean, I think college football this season is going to be very interesting. I have no idea who's going to be good, who's not going to be good. I know Ohio State should be good. They have Julian Saying back. Ohio State, I think Texas should be really good because Manning is back, even though, I'm still not an Arch Manning believer.
He was just okay.
Dante Moore is back at Oregon. Like those 3 teams, I feel like I know are going to be pretty good. Like outside of those 3 teams, like.
But Texas was just okay last year, right?
Yeah. I mean, but you would think that they're going to be.
You would think
especially because Arch Manning had a strong close to the season. Yeah. Like I was not a fan of his, but he did at least close well.
He did close well, but Texas still lost the games to the top.
They did. Like, and honestly,
teams on the schedule.
Dante Moore didn't play well in the big games either.
Not at all. Yeah, and that's the thing.
Right, Julian Saying's the only one that actually played well in big games. And that's one of the reasons. Honestly one of the only reasons why I do have hope for Lincoln Keenholz is that Saying's really good. So like maybe, maybe it was really just a situation where the dude was just too good to keep off the field. But I tell you what, Haven Harrington, we're up against it. Top of the hour break. When we come back, we have much, much more on the other side. This is Wake Up 502, 96.1 FM, 1450 AM. We'll be back on the Big X. Welcome back in. Welcome back in. Hour number 2, Big X Sports Radio. Wake up 502. Raashaan Myers, Haven Harrington taking care of you this morning. WXVW on a beautiful Saturday morning, Haven Harrington. And of course, before we get back into it and everything else going on, let everybody know what's upcoming. We're only a week out, right?
A week out, and the weather's supposed to be great. It's supposed to be like 75. Friday, I think like 80 something on Saturday. Little, maybe some clouds, and that's it. But man, Bourbon Barbecue Mayhem going down August 28th, 29th, Bluegrass Harley Davidson, 2755 Terra Crossings Boulevard. You want to be there for everything that we got going on. I am telling you, it is going to be hype. Everything kicks off Friday at 5 o'clock at Bluegrass Harley Davidson. We're going to have 7 chefs / pit masters that we've flown from all over the country are going to be there. They're going to be cooking up some of the most marvelous barbecue you can have. We got unlimited samples while supplies last of barbecue, unlimited bourbon tastings going on. The KMF band is going to be there playing tunes. We got a DJ. I'm telling you, it's going to be awesome. Tickets for Friday night are just $50. You can go to bourbonbbqmayhem.com and get your tickets for Friday right now. Now, here's the thing, because everybody's loyal listeners of Wake Up 502, who's been with us since we were the Main Event Sports days. You type in Mayhem 26 at our website, and you can save 10%. I almost said 6%. 10% on every ticket package we have. So you want a VIP table? VIP tables are $1,200, but they can include 8 VIP tickets, which gives you admissions to everything on both days. So bourbon taste on both Friday, bourbon taste on Saturday, the weigh-ins that are happening Friday night, the ABO welterweight regional championship fight, which is going down against our buddies Sim Bulls and Tyree, are going down. 2 undefeated fighters. Tim Mayhem Moulton fighting for the Kentucky Heavyweight Championship. All that. You get 8 tickets with a VIP table. You get 8 hand-rolled Cuban cigars.
Very nice.
And a bottle of bourbon on your table for only $1,200. So 8 people can enjoy everything we have to offer. I mean, they get the Pros versus Joe's barbecue cook-off, amateur barbecue cook-off, unlimited bourbon samples. Unlimited bourbon tastings, unlimited barbecue samples, both those while supplies last. I'm telling you, the event is going to be crazy. And we want you there August 20th, 29th. Bluegrass Harley Davidson, 2755 Terra Crossing Boulevard. Get your tickets now because they are selling fast. Matter of fact, we're almost sold out, so we need you to get your tickets now. Go to bourbonbbqmayhem.com. Get your tickets now. Use promo code Mayhem26 and save 10%. So basically, I know they charge fees on Eventbrite who are using to sell tickets, and you have to pay taxes. That 10% will take care of all that stuff for you.
Look at that.
Yes. So a 10% discount takes care of all that stuff for you. So we're taking care of that so you can come to the event and you can enjoy yourself and have a great time because we want you there. So I'm telling you, it's going to be awesome. I mean, we have like some of the best breweries in town are going to be there, from Noble Funk to Coppers and King, Pursuit, distillery is going to be there. So we got some of the best bourbon brands going to be there to give you, like I said, all the bourbon tastings, 6 chefs on both days giving you all the best barbecue samples you can eat while supplies last. So, man, take advantage of it. Go to bourbonbbqmayhem.com and get your tickets now. Don't hesitate. Run. Do not walk to the website. Get your tickets now. Use promo code Mayhem26. Save your 10% and make that happen.
There we go. Absolutely. And next up, of course, coming in, the man, the myth, the legend himself. We got Jay Haas checking in this morning. Of course, one of the best to ever do it in the city of Louisville. Jay Haas, good morning. How are you doing this morning, brother?
Doing good with Raashaan Myers. How you doing?
Man, doing well, brother. Doing well. You know, trying to figure out all this stuff going on with this 5 for 5 and who's eligible and who's not, who's getting kicked off the team, and you know everything else. A lot going on.
Valley's value meal when you say 5 for 5.
Yeah, right. You know,
I want a big Buford with that extra cheese.
You know, when you're dealing with this NCAA and some of the things with this there's a lot of things that are going with these kids, man. Johnson and Steph. It's just so much going on, man. But when we need to tighten up, when they need to do tighten up, I guess they beat this fine. But I still say they got a couple more pieces to the pie, Raashaan Myers.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I was asking Haven this morning, you know, is that, you know, now that we know that London Johnson's not going to be playing this year, and I feel like Seth Trimble should be eligible, you know, but there's still no guarantee. Like, if you were Pat Kelsey, you know, Jay, would you go out and try to find another point guard, say, like, from Europe, like bring in, like, a European point guard or something, just to have an extra guy on the roster?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you know, just to make sure that you have everything you need, I don't know why you wouldn't if you had the opportunity.
I mean, because you got an extra scholarship anyway, so you might as well.
Got a couple. I mean, you can have up to 15, and right now Louisville only has 10 scholarship players.
Right.
You know, so yeah.
Why not go for a high commodity basketball program like Louisville? The hottest, you know, budget. You know, they still got money to shine. You know, Pat Kelsey said the other day, right, man? I love this city. Don't believe the hype. You know, Louisville got plenty of money.
Yeah. Oh, we definitely know that. I mean, apparently they had Jackson Kohler, who, like we just talked about, was on with a Zoom call with Mark Pope and ended up committing to BYU. Apparently, University of Louisville had the largest offer for Jackson Kohler to come to Louisville.
Yes, sir.
You know,
yes,
so
sir.
we know Louisville got money because they just out there just dropping bags on people, just casual bags on people now. They just, like, you know, we'll throw a little something your way if you want to come this way, little guy. So, I mean, you know, hey, that's what we're doing now. So, yeah, you're right, Jay. They definitely got the money. But, Jay, let me ask you something, man. Like, you know, we got football upcoming. I know that, you know, you're excited about that. What are you more hyped for? Like, with all the conversation of Louisville basketball, but, of course, Jeff Brom getting ready to start down there in Nashville, what are you more excited for? Are you already trying to jump past football to basketball, or are you ready to see what Jeff Brom's going to do in a couple weeks?
I'm just ready to see what Brom has. These fifth-year players, they're going to get more excited and more intense, and hopefully we can get to the playoffs, man. I'm excited.
Okay. Look, so you're doing better than me. You know, I love football, but, you know, I can't lie to y'all. You know, I am, after the whole Seth Trimble thing happened, like, I am just so excited for this basketball thing to get started. I'm not saying I'm not excited about football, and I'm super excited, you know, get down there to Nashville and see what they're going to do, but, you know, I can't lie. I got an eyeball on that basketball, man. I think that Louisville's got a chance to be special this year, so I am definitely I only got about a toe in. Even though I have been enjoying the preseason, you know, looking at the Ravens, Jay Hass, let me tell you something. There's a kid, young man. Just remember this name, Jay. All right? Jacoby Lane. Remember that name. Remember I told you first, Jay. Jacoby Lane is going to be a problem for the Baltimore Ravens this year. Wide receiver, 6'3" wide receiver, about 220-pound guy, big guy, out of USC. It's going to be an absolute problem for the Ravens this year. Lamar Jackson has been spending every waking moment with that young man, and he continues to make plays. The Ravens play this afternoon at 1 o'clock. So we'll see what he looks like today. But he was excellent in his first week. Got a touchdown last week in their first preseason game. And, you know, we'll see what he looks like against the Minnesota Vikings today. But, yeah, just remember that name, man. Jacoby Lane is doing big things. He looks like he may be the steal of the NFL draft.
I heard it, Raashaan. You know, I'm so excited about it here to 55 down in Nashville in a couple of weeks, man. We got James Linton in the building. Good morning, James.
Man, good morning. How's everybody doing?
Got James in the building.
Big James, what's going on, big dog?
Man, the whole world is going on, but I'm excited to be listening to the number one sports show in the state of Kentucky. You guys are everywhere, man. Thank you for what you do.
James, appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. You one of the best on the grill in the nation, brother. You know, you out there doing what you do, politicking with people, shaking hands, kissing babies, making great food. Like, I want to be like James when I grow up. That's all I know.
Man, you're so very kind. I appreciate you, man. I just want you to know how proud I am. And I quit getting the newspaper because all my sports comes from you guys. So I'm grateful, very grateful.
No, appreciate it, man. James, let me ask you something. How do you think Brahms going to get this season started? Are you excited for Nashville?
Oh, my God. I've never been so excited. I went out and bought a new T-shirt, some socks, a hat, and I think this year is going to be a great run for us. And I'm hoping to kick it off. I'm a little concerned about that quarterback from Ole Miss because last year he was like a superhero. So I don't know how we can contain him, but I'm hoping to do some trick plays and kind of keep him a little bit off guard.
Yeah, Trinidad Chambliss was a problem last year for Ole Miss for sure. And, you know, with him being back, my hope is now that Lane Kiffin is gone, because, you know, Lane Kiffin's down there at LSU now. You know, maybe they Ole Miss hired their defensive coordinator. And anytime you have a defensive coordinator as your head coach, the offense is going to change. He's going to want to slow it down. He's going to want to run the football. So hopefully, James, fingers crossed, they're going to be a lot more conservative this year, and our Ohio State transfer will be ready to come out there and kick some tail. So, you know, we'll see.
Well, I'm excited, man. And I'm also glad. I'm hoping that I can get down there in Nashville and get a picture with you guys and just hang out and have a good time because I'm going for the game, and I love all the great food in Nashville. So I'll be eating 24 hours while I'm down there.
There you go.
I know Jay has been talking to every restaurant in the city of Nashville. We're going to go and eat in so many places that I don't know if I'll be able to make it to the game. I might be asleep before the game gets started, Jay.
Get that itis.
It happens, Raashaan. Real quick, Raashaan, you said an interesting question a while ago on the back side of the break. You was talking about as far as London Johnson has said about this young man and the position that Louisville could have been in. They got so many talents in so many areas, but I still think they can add about at least two more kids or somebody down low can be a monster. I want somebody to play to help out as well too. There's a lot increasing in this year of basketball, but we talk about basketball, we talk about football, but Raashaan, we got to talk about the main event next weekend with Harrington and Lawrence Winburn.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. We had Haven talking about it when, before we brought you on, getting ready for Bourbon Barbecue and Mayhem. It's going to be going down, Jay. I know you're going to be there as well. They're shaking hands. You're going to have the sunglasses on, larger than life.
Yeah.
Talking about only in America. So I know you're excited for that. Yeah. You're going to be doing your best, Don King. So I'm excited for it. I cannot wait for it. The second year round is going to be huge. The people out at Bluegrass Harley Davidson are very, very excited, man. So definitely looking forward to it. Can't wait.
Raashaan and Haven, in closing remarks, man, I just want to say, man, you guys do a phenomenal job throughout the week. Every week here, man, you give us something to listen to for international and local sports. You're the only sports show that does international from golf to Tiger to all the way down from you name it, kickball, whatever. You guys talk about international sports. I love it. But you guys keep doing what you're doing. To high school football yesterday at my high school last week. Yeah, yes, sir. Frankly, House.
Well, I tell you what. Did you see what Jahai Brown did for Christian Academy? Jahai Brown, he's that 5-star wide receiver that Louisville has committed for next year. For Cal, he had 4 touchdowns his first game. So the dude is the real deal. He's wanted by every team in the country. I'm talking about the Alabamas, the Ohio States, the Michigans, you name it, Oregon. They all want him. And he's a Louisville Cardinal. He's stuck with his commitment so far. It looks like he's going to be a Louisville Cardinal. Hey, he's the real deal, Jay.
Real deal, Holyville, huh?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Coming to a L&M Federal Credit Union Stadium near you.
Oh wow, my goodness.
So we'll see.
Before I leave Raashaan and Haven, I want to say this too. That a lot of people do know, people don't know about Raashaan Myers. Ladies and gentlemen, he physically can sing. I said sing. You gotta come and watch this guy. One of the biggest sports things in the country, Raashaan Myers. You gotta see him at your location where he performs at. The brother can sing from reggae all the way down to soul and rhythm.
Hey, you know what's crazy though, Jay, that you mentioned that? I finally took the time to put my karaoke list on an actual spreadsheet. Yeah, can y'all guess how many songs is on that list?
12.
No.
Jay, you got to guess?
Hundreds of it.
93 songs on my karaoke list. Crazy.
Wow.
93 songs. I didn't realize there was that many songs that I sing. So yeah, I at least got a few in the holster. So, whatever you want to listen to,
Tell them come out and see you, Raashaan. Tell your audience come to.
Absolutely. Y'all know I love doing the karaoke, man. So, y'all got to come out and check me out. I do go out. I know a lot of people don't know it, but Jock Sports Bar actually does karaoke on Wednesday nights. And I love going there, but Bon Air Tavern, you can catch me there on the weekends a lot. And I'm all over the place, especially once the season starts. That's kind of how we decompress after football games, right? Is that we like to get out, go to karaoke, hang out, be with the people. So, I'll be out and about. So, yeah, hopefully, y'all can catch me out somewhere. Maybe I'll do a little karaoke while we in Nashville.
Well, you think about that, man. I tell you, I can sing a little bit myself. But anyway, hey, man, good job always, guys. My name is Jay Harris. Always a pleasure tuning in to you guys every Saturday morning. Hey, you guys do a phenomenal job. Keep doing what you're doing. You guys going to get better and better. Number one sports show, FM 96.1.
There you go. Appreciate it. Jay has one of the best to ever do it. Once again, Jay has checking in this morning. Another note while we're talking about football, Jay or Haven. Before we move on to, we're going to take your text 502-414-1450, as well as we got a bunch of text messages coming in on YouTube as well as X. John Harbaugh, of course, Haven, he just took over with the New York Giants. So, with Harbaugh coming over, he's of course brought a lot of the former Ravens with him from New York to, from Baltimore to New York. So one of those guys that he brought over, Daniel Falele, I don't know if you remember him. He was a big old guy, big 6'6", 340-pound guard, offensive guard, that has been, was with the Ravens for the last couple of years. Absolutely horrendous offensive lineman. Horrendous. But, they decided to bring him over to the Giants. Probably the most maligned offensive lineman for Lamar Jackson. Got Lamar sacked about 85 times while he was there. So Daniel Falele comes out his first preseason game with the Giants and has an awful game. Gets cut immediately by the Giants. So John Harbaugh watched Daniel Falele get Lamar darn near killed for 2 years. But yet and still, one game shows he can't protect Jackson Dart and immediately gets rid of him. I know that should not bother me as much as it does Haven Harrington.
But it bothers you.
But it bothers me.
And it should bother you because that's just like...
It's like you've seen this dude. This dude is trash. And you let him basically get Lamar almost killed week in and week out. But you want to protect Jackson Dart so much that you get rid of him immediately.
Because you just believe so much in Lamar's ability to scramble
and
run.
It's ridiculous, man. It's ridiculous. Because that's exactly what it is. They believe so much in Lamar's scrambling ability. They're like, he doesn't need a good offensive line. He can just make it happen. Ridiculous. It's just ridiculous.
Pretty much.
Yes, it was annoying. And I know that should not have bothered me as much as it did. But that was just one of the things that really annoyed me this week.
I think the real question should be not so much if that's annoyed you so much, but how do your Raiders look so far in preseason?
They had the comeback win Thursday night.
Thursday night.
They had the comeback win Thursday night, which was nice. Of course, with all the backups playing. It's preseason. But I tell you what, I like what I've seen from them. Fernando Mendoza has looked good. He's thrown a couple of interceptions. He had a pick six in the game on Thursday night, but he shook off the pick six, came back, threw the ball very well. He throws the ball like a veteran, Haven, and I like he throws that intermediate pass and he throws that boundary pass very well. He's got to learn that those windows are a lot shorter in the red zone, which both of his interceptions basically happened in the red zone inside the 20. So he's got to learn how to deal with that. But the funny thing about preseason, they've shortened the preseason to just 3 games. And even though they've shortened it to 3 games, like the starters are playing even less now. So we haven't really seen, like, of course, Fernando Mendoza's not going to start. They brought over, what's his name from, Cousins. They brought over Kirk Cousins. He's going to be the star. I know. Well, I mean, you know what? I'm okay with it because they brought Kirk Cousins over because they didn't want to throw Mendoza to the Wolves. They didn't want him to have to go out there and be the starter from game one. And I respect that because I think that Kirk Cousins is a very good, solid guy. I mean, he's not a long-term starter, but he's a guy who's solid. He can come in there because the Raiders, you know what, they improved the offensive line. They still have Ashton Genty at running back. They have Brock Bowers at tight end, and they have some nice weapons at wide receiver. Now, the defense, I'm going to tell you, that's going to be the spot where the Raiders seem to have issues. Now, I know that, what's his name, the defensive lineman? Name escapes me. They got their stud, our defensive end back. But I don't know. It feels like the Raiders are going to be better. Their offense is going to be good. Their over-under is like 3.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So, I feel like they're definitely going to hit the over. People are asking if the Raiders are going to be the worst team. And, I think they were talking about them and the Washington Redskins and somebody, maybe the Cleveland Browns is like the 3 worst teams in the NFL. And I don't think the Raiders are going to be nearly that bad. I think the Raiders are going to be solid because their offense is going to be really good. Kirk Cousins is a solid quarterback and they have weapons. With the fact that they've improved the offensive line, I think they'll be able to win some games. Just
how long until Mendoza starts?
I think it kind of depends on how the season goes. If they're still competitive, if they can get 4 or 5 wins in the first half of the season, then maybe we'll see Kirk Cousins hang in there a little bit longer. But if they get off to a bad start and they're 1-7 or 2-6, then maybe we'll see Mendoza about week 10, probably. Okay. I would guess. I would say probably about week 10 and give him the second half of the season. But he does look good. I mean, he sees the field well, and he throws. He has an NFL arm, especially in that short. Honestly, he has the Tom Brady build. Where great short passer, great velocity on his passes, great accuracy on his short and intermediate passing, and good enough to get it down the field. Does that make sense? I don't know if he has, Tom Brady's processing because that's what, that's
Tom Brady.
Tom Brady is his processing. And I think that he has that potential process to be an elite processor like a Brady and a Manning, but it's got, it remains to be seen. But he's a smart guy. I think he's the best quarterback, first round guy that, we've seen the guys over the years, right? Todd Marinovich, and some of those other guys. What was the big guy from LSU? Jamarcus Russell, who was horrible. We've seen some of these guys, Jay Schrader. We've seen some of he's probably the best first round quarterback prospect that the Raiders have taken in my lifetime.
I've seen a lot.
Yeah, I think he's that good. I think that he could be a Rich Gannon in time. And I think that would be a good, that would be a solid mold for him to try to take after, because I don't think he's not your big arm guy. He's not your guy who's, like Jeff George, former Raider as well. He's not a guy who's just pure arm talent.
You're way better than Jeff George reference.
Yeah, I mean, hey, I'm a Raider. I know I'm a Ravens guy because I support Lamar, but I'm a Ravens fan, a Raiders fan at heart. You know what I'm saying? Like that's my heart. It always has been. So
Jeff George, that dude bounced on the league. He was Atlanta.
I mean, look, Marinovich, Schrader, Jeff George.
All these guys had super strong arms. All they do is
Vince Evans. I bet you don't even remember Vince Evans, dude.
I remember Vince Evans.
I mean, I can name all the Raider quarterbacks. I mean, we even had Jeff Hostetler there for a little while. Like, there's been so many quarterbacks over my Raiders fandom, but I think Mendoza is probably going to be the best homegrown talent since probably Jake the Snake.
Jake, you went way back.
I mean, like literally. I mean, I think like Ken Stabler was a homegrown, and I think that he could be as good as Stabler. I do, as far as a homegrown talent. So because of course Rich Gannon was he came over from the Chiefs, so he wasn't a homegrown quarterback with the Raiders. So I do. I think he could be the best homegrown quarterback since because I'm pretty sure Stabler got drafted by the Raiders. So yeah, I think he could be that good. That's the '70s. So it's been a lot of carousel. Yeah, it's been a long time, but it's good to see that the Raiders are in a good spot. I like what they've done from procuring talent. So I'm excited, and I do. I think that Baltimore is going to be very good. I think they look good. I love Jacoby Lane. He's the big body wide receiver that the Ravens have been missing. That they have your little guy. You have your small guys that can catch and have that shake and bake, but they have not had that big outside receiver that's not been like 40 years old. They just continued to bring in like the OBJs and all these guys that are well over.
Guys on the back end of their careers. Prime's over.
Like Jacoby Lane is the first big body, sure-handed, explosive wide receiver talent that they've had. I don't even know when. Like, that's just not been what they've done. That they've just continued to get these small wide receivers, like your Steve Smiths and guys like that. But like, this is their first big outside physical wide receiver. And Lamar Jackson just loves him. He throws every pass to that kid. When you see him in the 5-on-5 practices like they did with the Vikings, it's all he's the only guy that Lamar throws to him almost every time. So but they look good. The Ravens also did a great job. They brought in They brought in the Mason Hibner, the tight end from SMU. That was really, really good. He's played really well. I think that he'll be nice as well. So I'm excited, man. Football season is going to be exciting. So I know I say that I'm looking forward to Louisville basketball season, but there's a lot to be excited about in football, both
there's a whole lot
collegiately as well as in the NFL.
Brahms' most talented team, top to bottom.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to see what he can do. I'm excited to see what Kleinholz can do. Like I know he can run, but can he sling it?
I mean, apparently he's been, if you listen to Jeff Brom and what he's saying, he said that Kleinholz has been doing well. He's been taking care of the football, and he's been making plays with his legs. And I think that the read option can be huge for Louisville. That's been the one thing that has been missing from the Louisville offense is the fact that when you have a quarterback that isn't a threat to run, that makes everything easier on everybody. And if you can hold that defensive end for an additional half step, and you have a guy like Isaac Brown in the backfield because you have to worry about that quarterback, that just makes the offensive attack so much better. It opens up everything. Opens up the passing game, makes it easier for Isaac Brown. It makes it easier on Kleinholz to make those short intermediate completions. It just makes everything better. But I tell you what, Haven, let's go ahead. Let's get this last break. When we come back on the other end, we have a ton of texts and messages to get to. I was going to talk about Pat Kelsey joining Gary Parrish, but we may have to save that until maybe next week to talk about some of his comments there. He didn't give Gary much, but, there's a little something out there.
We're going to talk about because we got the mayhem to talk about, baby.
Absolutely. We got a ton to talk about. On the other side, Wake Up 502, 96.1 FM, 1450 AM, and we'll be back on the Big A. Last segment of the show, Wake Up 502, 96.1 FM, 1450 AM, Big X Sports Radio. Raashaan Myers, Haven Harrington taking care of you. Last segment of the show is going down. Thanks so much. 502-414-1450. That is the Game Day Men's Health text line. You have been blowing up the text line this morning. Want to definitely get to as many of these texts as we can, as you guys have been very, very active this morning throughout the show. First of all, just looking through the text, thanks so much for the all the help this morning getting the audio taken care of. It was a little bit crazy, but a YouTube texter says, will Seth Trimble be able to play now? Right now, Seth Trimble is ineligible because they did grant that stay in Colorado. So Seth Trimble, him and his legal team, like I said, will more than likely join the lawsuit that Mark Mitchell and his guys just got eligible with, a couple of the Louisville guys. My guess is that his legal team will look to join that order, that restraining order, and just go from there. If not, he will start his own and go through that process. But more than likely, he'll just try to join onto that temporary restraining order that was done here in Kentucky. But I think that he will become eligible again. The only question is, will the NCAA fight that on the state level in the state of Kentucky? And what happens with that if, their stay to make those guys back ineligible again pending appeals? That'll be the question. But I do think that Seth Trimble will be eligible here again in the next week or so. So look for that to be coming, and then just let the fights go from there. But we are still waiting. At this moment, as of today, right now, he is not eligible. Texter also says Mitch McConnell has been messing with the soundboard. Where, you know what? Have you seen all this "Where's Mitch McConnell" stuff? Everybody,
man, those memes are hilarious. Just straight hilarious.
Like I've seen him pop up on Resident Evil. I've seen him pop up on all type of stuff. Weekend at Bernie's. I've seen so many things talking about. Y'all need to leave Mitch McConnell alone, man. He's fine. He's fine. He's good to go. Texter says, the James Sitter on X says that he thinks that Seth Trimble is going to get eligible. He says, I have no doubt. Joe V is checking in on X this morning. He says, I'm not sure I would go with the international route in terms of bringing in another player. He says, but absolutely we need more bodies. We can't count on Trimble becoming eligible. Yeah, I mean, to me, and Haven, you agreed, like, you got to hedge your bets, right?
You got to.
Yeah, I agree. I think that you do have to hedge your bets, Joe. I agree with you wholeheartedly. LA Lakers 17 checks in. He says, PK can recruit, but doesn't know how to manage a roster. And relax, Trimble will be reinstated, so we will be fine because London wasn't going to get the minutes anyway. People talking like he was the next Chucky Hepburn. I'll say this about London. Like I said, I was much more bullish on what London Johnson was going to be, but I've heard a lot of the offseason that London has been playing really, really well. And like I said, I just think he got a bad rap because he did not want to take a pay cut and play last year. And people took him not wanting to play last year as he can't play. And I think it wasn't a situation of he can't play. I think it was a situation of he wanted to get his money right, which I understand. Like I can't, manage the next man's pocketbook. And if he wants to get all his money, I can't blame him for that. I mean, these college athletes, this is probably the best opportunity for them to earn money while they're professional athletes is in college right now. I mean, it kind of is what it is. But I do think that London was going to play. I do think it is a significant loss. But if Seth Trimble becomes eligible, Haven, I take that trade in a heartbeat. You can trade a ACC honorable mention combo guard for London Johnson. You make that trade every time. So, as long as Seth Trimble becomes eligible, I think that Louisville absolutely made an upgrade. But I do think that London was going to be a solid player for sure. Texter says, why does the toothless fans act like every player they try to get is the next Jordan? Am I missing something? Did he make an NBA roster? They act like this dude is Kevin Garnett. Talking about Mark Mitchell. No,
I mean, he goes to Kentucky. Of course, gonna make him sound like he's.
Yeah, I mean, UK fans, they hype everybody. Like they even hype Milan Manchilic. And that's not to say Milan Momcilovic is not a great player. Milan is the best shooter in college basketball, without a doubt. But you got to understand what's the other side of the Milan Momcilovic, player. He's a horrid defender, terrible defender. Doesn't move his feet. Kentucky wants him playing the 3, which means he's going to be even more exposed because he's going to be playing at Iowa State. He played more of the 4, so he was playing. He was guarding power forwards. So you don't get exposed as much because you're playing kind of mid-post and in, right? So you're not having to get out there and move your feet on the perimeter. If it's true that Kentucky is going to try to play Milan on the perimeter at the 3 and on the wing, he's going to get exposed regularly. So while, yes, you do get a tremendous amount of shooting and a guy who can make very difficult shots, what you're going to give up on the defensive end, is that, you have to balance the risk versus the reward. Yeah, he may get out there and average 18 points per game, but Haven Harrington, how many points is he giving up on a, game in, game out basis? If you have a guy that's scoring 18 but giving up 20 plus,
it's a negative.
Yeah, it's a net negative. So, I mean, it is what it is. But UK fans, they always hype up everybody. Mark Mitchell is a nice player. But there's a reason that, Missouri was one of the, last teams into the NCAA tournament and, in the bottom half of the SEC. Yes, they made the tournament, but they made the tournament as like the 10th or 11th best team in the SEC. So Mark Mitchell's fine. He's a very aggressive downhill driver type guy. He's good at getting fouled. He's pretty much a poor man's Julius Randle. Is probably the best way I can compare him. He's pretty much a collegiate poor man's Julius Randle. So take that for what it is. He doesn't have Julius Randle's explosiveness nor his athletic ability, but he plays a very similar game. So, I mean, it is what it is. But, yes, UK fans always overhype everything. 502-414-1450, Game Day Men's Health text line. We have some texters over here as well. Let's take a look at what they're talking about this morning. Texter says, let's see. He says, "Good morning, Wake Up 502 main event show." Says, "How was the barbecue mayhem wrestling match?" That has not happened yet. It's not a wrestling match. It's a boxing event. It is next Saturday. It's a week from today, so it is upcoming quickly. And also, it says, "So is Seth Trimble going to play or not?" Just talked about that, so hopefully you got that answer. Also, Texter says, "Will Leanne Herring be on next Saturday?" It is week 0 is next Saturday.
And yes, she will. She sent me a text message.
So Leanne will be back in business for week 0. So she will be back on. It says also, will she be on live in Nashville for the pregame on Sunday versus Ole Miss? Is Leanne going to be in Nashville? Have you heard?
I haven't heard from her yet.
Okay. My guess is that Leanne will possibly try to, but Leanne, where is she? Is she in Texas?
Yes.
She's in Texas, so I don't know if she's going to make the trip up. Hopefully she will. I would love to see Leanne. I haven't seen her in forever. So hopefully she can make it up. You would think with Louisville and Ole Miss meeting on the football field, she would try her best to
I know
get
some
there.
of that may also have to do with her obligations to the NFL Network
Yes.
as well. So
Yes, for sure, 100%. And let's see. Texter in 502-414-1450 says, "What do you think about Atherton on high school football? I think Trinity and Atherton are the best teams in the state." Is Atherton football any good, Haven Harrington? I've never known Atherton football to be that good.
Yeah, neither have I.
I mean, Trinity sounds right, but
They probably heard you say Ravens, so Atherton.
yeah. Yeah, I know Trinity's pretty good. Like I said, and Cal looks great. Cal started out the season with a 41-0 victory over whoever it was. I don't know about Atherton, but I'll have to do some digging on that. All I know is J. Hyde Brown and Kellen Hall, which are both 5-star players on Cal's basketball. Christian Academy of Louisville has 2 5-star players on their roster, a 5-star defensive lineman and 5-star wide receiver nationally.
That's crazy.
Insane talent. So I know Cal has probably the 2 best players in the state, both on their roster. So they're legit. So we'll see. I don't know if they're 5A or 6A or what designation Cal is, but wherever they are, whoever they,
I think they're 5A.
Are they 5A?
I think so.
Yeah. So they're going to dominate the 5A. 6A is the Trinities and the St. X's and manuals and all those. But they definitely have way too many classifications in Kentucky, though, don't you think? Like, is Kentucky a state big enough for 6 divisions?
Not really, but with like so many counties only have like one high school, and some of those counties be like super small. I kind of get it.
Yeah, but 6 state champions every year is annoying. I know that may not be a popular opinion some places, but
you know what? We got 10 minutes before the show's over.
Just saying.
I need you to cue up this song to play as our outro.
Okay.
You got to play something from the 5 Heartbeats.
Absolutely.
So, because apparently I was also reading our YouTube text line, and apparently Eddie Kane, Michael Wright, the actor who plays Eddie Kane, passed away today at 70.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You know what? I did see that. Wow.
Nights like this, I
will not play that.
Raindrops will fall. And great lines like, I still got it.
But yes, I for sure will do that. Absolutely. We will play a little 5 Heartbeats on the outro. Absolutely. Good call, Haven Hanson. Texter says, SMH, Will Stein has never been a head coach, but of course, the Blue Necks act like he's Nick Saban. UK fans are the most delusional fans in all the sports. Yeah, I mean, we know what the UK fans are definitely always going to hype up everything. But like this whole, what do they call it, Haven Harrington? The Steinesty is what they're calling it.
Hey.
Hope springs eternal. Football season is where everybody becomes, like, even in the NFL, even if you are a fan of the worst team in the NFL, Jets fans are like, we're going 16-0.
We got it. This is our year.
So, I cannot begrudge the Kentucky fans getting excited. Even the fact that they say they're going to beat Alabama at home in week 2. I can't begrudge it, but, these guys going out there saying they're going to be 10-2.
I mean, that game's going to be sold out.
It's going to be jumping. I mean, but look, UK's always had a great home environment for their home football.
I mean, Kroger Field's
I mean, those people, they have a pathetic football team on the field, but their tailgating is elite. I give them that credit. Like, I've been to Kentucky games. My sister graduated from UK.
Graduated from UK.
My daughter graduated from UK. The kid's mom graduated from UK. So I've seen a lot of Kentucky football over the years. And one thing I can say, they can tailgate. So I will give them that. I don't like the Blue Necks for much, but they know how to party. So it's going to be a party down there in Lex. Honestly, I wouldn't mind being able to go to that game if Louisville didn't have a game themselves.
I wonder if they beat Alabama by some chance, are they going to start burning couches and overturning cars?
Absolutely. Are you kidding?
Are they going to treat this? They're going to go national championship.
Yes, they will create T-shirts if they beat Alabama in game 2 and Will Stein starts out 2-0 on the season. They will create T-shirts. They will burn cars. They will burn couches. They will flip things over, and they will more than likely have a parade. Like, literally, this. Hey, you're sitting there smiling, like you know good and well.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. And I could not begrudge them of that. Now, are they going to beat Alabama? Absolutely. Alabama's going to come in there and treat them like the Great White Hype. They're going to come out and spar and look pretty good for about a quarter and a half, and then they're going to be like, you trying to embarrass me on TV? And they're going to get slapped down. So, that's absolutely going to happen. Texter says, he says, have you brothers ever heard of barbecue steak?
Yes.
If so, should I try it on the grill? Absolutely.
Yes. Barbecue steak is awesome. So are fried ribs. Because remember we had
the deep fried ribs. Yes.
My frat brother cooked for us.
Yes. Barbecue steak, 100% absolutely try. Deep fried ribs, once again, absolutely try. It sounds like, a heart attack on a stick, which it might be, but it's okay. It's all right. Just embrace the horror.
Your mouth will thank you for it.
But by the way, Haven Hanson, when is the tailgate going to be this upcoming season? Homecoming. Okay. All right. So homecoming, I'm guessing around mid October, October 17th.
Yep.
something like that.
The mighty men of Phi Beta Sigma are going to do the tailgate, and we will be there.
Absolutely, I cannot wait. I cannot wait. I don't know, we haven't really gotten together where we're going to do pre-games or if that's going to be a big thing this year. Definitely going to let you guys know on that. University of Louisville's been changing a lot of stuff with their accesses and everything, so everything is just kind of up in the air, but we will definitely let you all know. We're two weeks out from the first game in Nashville, but 3 weeks out from the first home game. So we're still kind of getting all of that together. So definitely stay tuned. Wakeup502.com. And of course on this fine radio program, as well as, as the season gets rolling, Main Event After Dark and Wake Up 502 After Dark.
You're coming back, baby.
It's coming back, so we're going to be doing that during the week. Well, Haven Harrington's excited about giving you football breakdowns and us getting into the ins and outs of what we saw, what we liked, and what we didn't like. All that stuff's coming back. The summer is over, y'all. So, over the next several weeks, starting with Bourbon Barbecue and Mayhem, you're just going to start getting a whole lot of Main Event Sports, Wake Up 502, Raashaan Haven, and everything in between. The long-suffering summer is over. We have to deal with that. Oh, plus, got to give a shout-out. The U of L volleyball squad goes out there, gets a top 10 victory, knocks off the defending champs, Texas A&M, 3-1. So shout out. The ladies are off to a great start. Also shout out. I got to give a shout out and give props where it's where it's due. Kentucky volleyball as well went down there and got a sweep of Wisconsin.
Ooh.
So Louisville and Kentucky both go down there and represent. Yeah. Kentucky's ranked number 3 in the nation.
That's crazy.
Louisville's ranked currently number 7. But we'll more than likely see both of those programs if they can finish off a strong weekend down there. I believe they're down in Texas. If they can finish off a strong week down there, you could see both those programs in the top 5. So Louisville and Kentucky both have very, very strong volleyball programs this season. So shout out to them. I just wanted to give them a shout out for that. You know who I don't want to give a shout out to before we get out of here, Haven Harrington? That would be the Cleveland Cavaliers. All right, I love the fact that they traded and got Peyton Watson. They made the deal.
Okay.
They traded Max Strus.
They did
to the Denver Nuggets. They get back Peyton Watson in a 5-team deal. But the fact that they re-signed James Harden to a 3-year, almost $100 million extension, paying James Harden $30+ million a year for what?
Why?
His career's over. No, let me tell you something. The only reason they did that is because it was a terrible trade to trade Darius Garland last year for James Harden anyway. So now they've had to double down that it was a good move to trade Darius Garland, who's a 24, 25-year-old all-star point guard in his prime, for an old man who
passed his prime,
literally fell apart and could literally give you nothing in the Eastern Conference Finals last year. Averaged more turnovers than assists as your point guard.
I mean, his whole career was made on flopping and jacking up threes.
I mean, but Haven Harrington, everybody knew he was cooked in the Eastern Conference Finals. So why on earth would you give him a 3-year, $100 million deal? That's insane.
So many other talented guys you could have got. How about Klay Thompson?
Well, they didn't want to lose him for nothing because, if they try to lowball him, he goes somewhere else, and now you've lost Darius Garland, and you have nothing to show for it. So to me, this was all about Kobe Altman saving face, the GM of the Cavaliers. This is all about him saving face. He literally wanted to save face and say, it's still James Harden. Let's give him money because it's James Harden.
I mean, are you going to have to manage James Harden throughout the season?
Absolutely.
So he's ready for the playoffs?
But he's not going to play any defense anyway. But Peyton Watson is a steal. Getting him from the Nuggets. The Nuggets did not want to trade him, but they just could not afford him, which is why they had to let him go. But he is a star on the way up.
How about Klay Thompson joining your buddy LeBron?
Yeah, Klay is going to be joining. No, he's not joining LeBron. He's going with Giannis down to Miami.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, he's going. Yeah, LeBron's up there in Philly, but yeah, he's going down to Miami. They made that announcement. Well, the NBA the Eastern Conference is loaded this year with LeBron going to Philly, Giannis down there in Miami. Now Klay joined. It seems like everybody is going. Everybody is going to be headed to the Eastern Conference this year. So I cannot wait. But I tell you what, Haven Harrington, let's go ahead. Thanks so much, everybody, for joining us. This is Wake Up 502. Raashaan Myers, Haven Harrington. We'll be back next week, and next week is Bourbon Barbecue Mayhem. There we go. Hey, we're out. Thanks so much, everybody.